Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, I'll be showing you how to give your fairy doll a curly hairstyle. I have a daughter that's got gorgeous naturally curly hair, so I was excited to do this tutorial. I've also had a lot of people request curly hair on a fairy doll. So let's grab some supplies and get started. The first thing you'll need is some embroidery floss for your fairy doll's hair. The next thing we'll need is some bamboo skewers, and these are just the kinds of skewers you would use when you're making shish kebabs. I got these at the grocery store. You'll need some wooden clothespins. They will hold our hair in place while we curl it. I have a little spray bottle with some water in it. And then I have everything I need to twist my wooden bead and my embroidery floss and my floral wire into a fairy. So we're actually going to start styling the hair before we make our fairy doll. So the first step is to very carefully take off the packaging of your embroidery floss. We want to leave it as smooth and even as possible. Then I'm going to cut through one of the ends so I will have a big long strand of embroidery floss. Then carefully pull off 4 or 5 pieces of the floss. And starting on one side of my bamboo skewer, I'm going to start wrapping the embroidery floss around the wood, and you just want to clip the clothespin on the end of it to hold it in place. And then continue to evenly twist or evenly wrap your thread around the skewer. And you can see I'm wrapping as evenly as I can. You don't want it to overlap at all. You just want a nice even layer of the embroidery floss. And you're just going to twist it all the way to the end, making sure that it's nice and even. And when we get to the other side, we're going to hook another clothespin on the other side to keep it in place. So you can see here, you're just going to follow these same steps with all of your embroidery floss, and it should give you about 6 skewers that are twisted with your fairy doll hair. So you can see me wrapping it evenly here. I kind of wrap a couple times and then slide it up a little bit to keep it nice and even. And the reason that we wanted to keep the embroidery floss smooth as we were taking the packaging off is because we don't want it to get all twisted and knotted up. We want it to stay nice and just smooth so our doll has pretty curls. So once we have all of our embroidery floss twisted onto our skewers, I'm going to put them on a cooking sheet, and I'm going to give them a little spritz with my water. Now you don't want to douse them. They don't need to be absolutely soaking. This is actually a fine mist little sprayer, and so I just lightly spray all of them on both sides, and then you're going to put it in your oven for about an hour on about 200 degrees. Don't forget that they're in the oven, and be careful when you're using your oven not to burn yourself. I just leave them in there for about an hour at 200 degrees, pull them out, let them cool off, and then you just slide the embroidery floss off of your bamboo skewers, and you will have these pretty little ringlets. And be very careful when you're twisting off the bamboo skewer. You want to keep the curl intact. So once I have them all taken off, I'm going to give all of the little scraggly ends a trim. So I'm just trimming off the part that was held together with the clothespin. So I have nice pretty curls that are even on the ends. I'm going to kind of line them all up so they're all even. And then grab it right in the center. And now we're going to start making our fairy doll. If you've never made fairy dolls with me before, you'll want to check out my basic fairy doll tutorial, because from this point on, I'm just going to twist my wire into a fairy doll the way I normally do in my basic fairy doll tutorial. So I slide on the head, twist it a couple times, and I give her some arms and a body and some legs. And you'll find all of these very detailed instructions by clicking on the video up in the corner for my basic fairy doll tutorial. And once I have her all twisted together, I am going to wrap her with the color I've chosen for her skin. One thing to keep in mind while you're doing this is to be very mindful of the curls. You don't want them to start getting tangled up or unraveled, so I just work very carefully and make sure that I'm not messing her hair up as I'm twisting the wire into her body. Once we're at this point, normally I would completely dress my doll before I did her hair, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to start styling her hair. So you can see I pushed the bead down, put a big dab of glue on the wire right at the top of the bead, and then slid the bead back up. The glue will attach to the hair and help hold the bead in place so it doesn't move around. Then I'm going to grab one of the curls and very carefully start separating each curl into two pieces. So you're going to have about 2 pieces of hair from each curl, and we're separating it all out. And then you're just going to start arranging the ringlets into place. You'll notice that some of the pieces are a lot longer, some of them are a lot shorter. We're going to take the pieces that are a little bit longer and we're actually going to trim some of them off. We're going to use these little pieces that we trim off to glue underneath her hair to give her another layer of hair, to make it fuller and to make it so that you can't see the wooden bead in the back. So I'm just going to start on the side, work very slowly with little dabs of glue, and I'm just going to put a small dab of glue and then take one of the little curls and just lightly, very gently glue it onto the side of her head. And I work one at a time, just adding these little curls back in, any spot that looks like it needs to be filled in, so that we're just covering up the wooden bead in the back. Now, I have to say this again, I always feel like the hardest part of making a fairy doll is styling her hair. It definitely takes the most patience and a lot of TLC to get her hair styled. Work slowly, work with small dabs of glue. And with this, where her hair's curly, you do want some of the layers to be longer and some of the layers shorter. So once I have her hair all filled in the back, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to give her a little haircut. And I'm kind of just trimming off any of the scraggly pieces. I can also go through, and if I need to trim a few more to fill in anywhere else in the back, I can use those little curl pieces. Now, if any of the curls start to get twisted the wrong way or kind of looking funny, you can very gently smooth the piece of the embroidery floss out and kind of gently twist it back into the curl. And that's it, guys. You're all set. You have a curly hairstyle for your fairy doll. Thank you so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please post those below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That would be awesome. I have some very fun Christmas fairy doll tutorials coming up. You can check those out at untidyartist.com or on my YouTube channel. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time.